How do you maintain consistent excellence when everything around you is constantly changing? In 2007, Mike Tomlin took over the Pittsburgh Steelers at age 34, inheriting a franchise in transition with aging stars, salary cap constraints, and massive expectations. 17 years later, he's achieved something unprecedented in modern professional sports. He's never had a losing season. Not one. Through quarterback changes, roster turnover, injuries, salary cap hell, and constant external pressure, Mike Tomlin has maintained steady excellence when other coaches experience dramatic ups and downs. What Tomlin mastered isn't avoiding change, it's leading through change without losing your organizational identity. He understood something most leaders never figure out. In chaotic environments, steady leadership beats dramatic leadership every time. Welcome to the highest level. I'm Coach Evan, and I study what separates legendary leaders from everyone else. Today, we're breaking down Mike Tomlin's leadership model, the steady presence and adaptive systems that create sustainable excellence through constant uncertainty. By the end of this case study, you'll have 5 proven leadership principles that maintain organizational performance during volatility, whether you're leading through market turbulence, company transitions, or industry disruption. Let's dive in. First, let's understand the magnitude of what Tomlin has achieved. 17 seasons as an NFL head coach, 0 losing seasons, a Super Bowl championship at age 36, consistent playoff appearances despite constantly changing rosters. But here's what makes this remarkable for business leaders. Tomlin has faced every leadership challenge you can imagine. Star quarterbacks retiring, salary cap constraints forcing him to release key players, serious injuries to core team members, external media pressure, and generational changes in player expectations. Most coaches in these situations either have dramatic rebuilding years with terrible records or they get fired during the transition. Tomlin has maintained excellence through all of it. But here's what makes this relevant for your leadership. Tomlin's challenge is identical to what you face in business. How do you maintain organizational performance when your industry changes? How do you lead through constant personnel transitions? How do you adapt to new challenges without losing what made you successful? This isn't just about sports. This is about the ultimate leadership challenge, creating steady excellence in an inherently chaotic environment. Tomlin mastered this through what I call stability based leadership, a systematic approach to maintaining performance that we can break down into 5 core principles. The Mike Tomlin leadership model. Principle 1: adaptive presence over rigid planning. Most leaders create detailed plans and try and stick to them regardless of changing circumstances. Tomlin does the opposite. His philosophy is remarkable. He said, I don't come to work with an agenda or a to do list. I just show up and be who the guys need me to be. And this changes daily. Here's how we saw this work in practice. Mike Tomlin assesses what his team needs each day and adapts his leadership style accordingly. Some days they need encouragement. Other days they need tough accountability. Some situations require him to be a teacher. Others require him to be a motivator. But here's the key insight. Tomlin combines this adaptability for what he calls challenging for growth. He said, I'd rather make people uncomfortable to challenge people. I just think that accelerates the developmental process as opposed to coming in and looking for comfort. He's not changing his core standards or values. He's changing his approach to help people reach those standards based on what the moment requires. This showed up powerfully in how he handled the 2019 season when the Steelers lost their starting quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, for the entire year early in the season. Instead of panicking or dramatically changing their system, Tomlin adapted his leadership approach to maximize what the backup quarterbacks could do while maintaining their defensive identity. The result? The team went 8-8 in a season when most predicted it would be a disaster. Now, why does this matter for your leadership? Most leaders either stick rigidly to their plans when circumstances change, or they change everything reactively without maintaining core principles. The tactical takeaway: develop situational awareness that allows you to adapt your leadership approach while maintaining consistent organizational standards. This is exactly what I see missing in most organizations. Leaders who think leadership means having the same approach regardless of circumstances. Tomlin understood that effective leadership requires reading the room and adjusting your style while never compromising your standards. The key takeaway here: adapt your approach, never your standards. Principle 2: transparent communication that builds trust. While other coaches play politics or keep players guessing about their status, Tomlin built his reputation on what players call radical honesty. One player said, everything is important to him. He stays tuned in to what's important to his team. Here's how this systematic transparency works. Tomlin created what he calls winning edge meetings, Friday sessions where the team goes over everything they learned that week and explains why they're doing what they're doing. These aren't just tactical reviews, they're educational sessions that help players understand the reasoning behind every decision. But the real power shows in how he handles difficult conversations. Players consistently describe Tomlin as so blunt, so honest, and saying from the beginning of the year that this was the way it was going to be. Here's a perfect example of this. When Tomlin needs to make a lineup change or discipline decisions, he doesn't sugarcoat it. He explains exactly what he observed, what standards weren't met, and what needs to change. But he frames it as a development, not punishment. One of his former players, Joe Hayden, said, he's able to talk to us. Just talking about raising our kids, he's going to be completely honest with you, very, very transparent. The key insight: Tomlin understands that uncertainty creates anxiety, and anxiety kills performance. By being consistently transparent about expectations, decisions, and reasonings, he eliminates the guesswork that destroys team focus. Now, why does this matter for your leadership? Most organizations fail during change because communication becomes unclear, political, or inconsistent. People spend energy trying to figure out what's really happening instead of focusing on performance. The tactical takeaway: create systematic communication processes that explain not just what the decisions are that you're making, but why you're making them. This is what separates stable organizations from chaotic ones. Leaders who understand that transparency isn't about sharing everything. It's about ensuring that your team never has to guess about expectations or reasoning. Tomlin knew that confusion kills performance faster than external challenge. The key takeaway here: uncertainty kills performance, transparency prevents it. Principle 3: process focused mindset under pressure. Here's what makes Tomlin different from other successful coaches. He never allows success to stop improvement, and he never allows failure to create panic. His philosophy is remarkably consistent. He said, the only thing that's perfect is our record. We acknowledge that. There will always be things to work on. This process focus shows up most clearly in how he handles both winning and losing. After victories, Tomlin immediately shifts focus to what they need to improve on for the next challenge. After losses, he focuses on correctable mistakes rather than emotional reactions. His weekly structure demonstrates this perfectly. Tomlin starts each week with what he calls "It Is What It Is Wednesday." Forget the game you just played and focus entirely on implementing the base game plan for the next opponent. Thursday is the most important preparation day, where he emphasizes live in the moment, have short memories, nothing else can help you win. But here's the deeper insight: Tomlin actively rejects seeking comfort. He said, I hate seeking comfort. Every man is capable. This isn't about being unnecessarily difficult, it's about understanding that comfort breeds complacency. When players or coaches start feeling satisfied with current performance, Tomlin deliberately introduces new challenges or raises standards to prevent stagnation. This shows up clearly when the Steelers were having success, but not reaching their championship potential. Instead of celebrating good enough, Tomlin consistently raised the bar and focused on process improvements that would create sustainable excellence. Now, why does this matter for your leadership? Most leaders either panic during challenges or become complacent during success. Both reactions kill long term performance. The tactical takeaway: focus on continuous process improvement regardless of current results. Never allow focus to stop growth or failure to create panic. This is exactly what I see in championship organizations. Leaders who understand that sustainable excellence comes from consistent process improvement, not emotional reactions to temporary results. Tomlin proved that process focused leadership creates stability that weathers any storm. The key takeaway: process consistency creates performance stability. Principle 4: environment builder, not micromanager. While many coaches try to control every detail, Tomlin focuses on creating environments where high performance becomes inevitable. His philosophy is clear. He said, "I like to build an environment and culture where others can be great and realize their hopes and dreams." Here's how this works systematically. Tomlin doesn't micromanage individual techniques or constantly adjust tactics. Instead, he creates what he calls a professional and competitive work environment that drives guys to be prepared and to perform. This shows up in multiple ways. First, Tomlin establishes clear organizational identity. He constantly reminds players what it means to wear the Steelers logo and the legacy they're continuing. This creates internal motivation rather than external pressure. Second, he structures the environment to reinforce the standards. Players describe the Steelers' facility as having very high standards and a culture that challenges you because there's a very high standard. But here's the key insight: Tomlin creates structure that enables autonomy. Players know exactly what's expected, but they have the freedom in how they achieve those standards. This builds ownership rather than compliance. One player noted, "When you wear the Steelers logo, you understand that there's great players that came before you, and there's high expectations from everybody for you to perform." This environment building approach showed during the transition from veteran leaders like Troy Polamalu and James Harrison to younger players. Instead of changing the culture, Tomlin maintained the same environmental standards while helping new players understand and embrace them. Now, why does this matter for your leadership? Most leaders either micromanage everything or provide no structure at all. Both approaches fail under pressure. The tactical takeaway: create clear environmental standards and organizational identity. Then give people freedom to excel within that framework. This is what I see in the highest performing organizations. Leaders who understand that people perform best when they know exactly what's expected, but have the autonomy in how they achieve it. Tomlin built environments where excellence becomes the natural response to clear expectations. The key takeaway: clear standards plus autonomy equals sustainable performance. Principle 5: genuine care with high expectations. This might be Tomlin's most powerful leadership principle: the ability to combine genuine care for people with uncompromising performance standards. Most leaders think these are mutually exclusive. Tomlin proves they're mutually reinforcing. Here's the story that shows this perfectly. In a critical game against the Denver Broncos, Tomlin held safety Ryan Clark out of the lineup despite being medically cleared to play. Clark had a sickle cell trait, and the high altitude in Denver posed a potential health risk. When questioned about the decision, Tomlin simply said, "I've got an obligation to safeguard him. This wasn't about being overly cautious, It was about genuine care for the player's long term well being over short term competitive advantage. But here's what makes this remarkable: Tomlin combined this care with incredibly high performance demands. Players describe him as demanding excellence while never questioning his motives. Here's how he did this: Tomlin operated with what players called an individual basis. One player noted it was how he operated with guys on an individual basis. He didn't talk to everybody the same way. He manifested relationships throughout the season. He is 100% business when he's in season, and he's 100% in the business of winning. This individual approach means Tomlin invests time understanding what motivates each person, what challenges they're facing, and how to help them perform at their highest level. The key insight: when people trust your motives, they'll accept almost any level of demand. When they question your motives, they'll resist even reasonable expectations. Now, why does this matter for your leadership? Most leaders either try to be liked by lowering standards or maintain high standards while remaining distant. Both approaches limit potential. The tactical takeaway: invest in genuine relationships that demonstrate care for people's development. Then hold them to high standards because you want them to succeed. This is exactly what I see in championship organizations: leaders who combine authentic concern for people's growth with uncompromising performance expectations. Tomlin understood that care without standards enables mediocrity, but standards without care creates resentment. The key takeaway here: people accept high demands when they trust your motives. Now, here's how all of these principles work together in practice. Look at Tomlin's entire tenure with the Steelers. This is stability based leadership creating sustained excellence through constant change. You had adaptive presence. When Ben Roethlisberger retired, Tomlin didn't panic or dramatically change systems. He adapted his approach to maximize what rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett could do while maintaining their defensive identity. You had transparent communication. Players always knew where they stood and why decisions were being made. This eliminated uncertainty during transitions and kept focus on performance rather than politics. You had a process focus. Whether winning or losing, Tomlin maintained the same improvement mindset. Success never led to complacency, and setbacks never created panic. You had environment building. The Steelers' facility and culture remained consistent regardless of personnel changes. New players understood immediately what was expected and how to succeed. You had genuine care. Players trusted Tomlin's motives, which allowed him to maintain incredibly high standards even during difficult transitions. Notice the integration: the adaptive presence reading what the team needed, the transparent communication preventing uncertainty, the process focus maintaining improvement momentum, the environment providing consistent standards, and genuine care earning trust for high demands. This is the difference between good leaders and legendary leaders. They create systems where every principle reinforces every other principle to create stability through chaos. In your organization, this looks like consistent communication during change, maintaining standards while adapting approaches, building trust through genuine concern for people's development, creating environments that enable autonomy, and focusing on process improvement regardless of current results. So there you have it: Mike Tomlin's leadership model broken down into 5 stability based principles: adaptive presence, transparent communication, process focused mindset, environment building, and genuine care with high expectations. The bottom line: Tomlin didn't avoid change, he mastered leading through change. He proved that steady, reliable leadership that adapts without losing core principles creates more sustainable success than dramatic transformations or rigid adherence to outdated methods. Here's your homework: pick one of these principles and implement it during your next organizational challenge or transition. Don't try and do all 5 at once. Focus on building steady leadership habits one principle at a time. And if you found this valuable, subscribe for more championship leadership case studies. Next week, we're breaking down Bill Parcells and how he specialized in organizational turnarounds through tough love leadership and systematic culture change. And if you're a business leader who wants to build steady excellence like Tomlin did, check out the link in the description. I work with executives who want to maintain organizational performance through market volatility and industry change. Until next time, lead like a legend.